My name is Marilene. I'm from E-Visa Immigration, and today we're going to talk about the immigration pathways in 2025. Okay. Uh, Before we go and talk about migration, just wanted to let you know that I have been working with immigration for the past 10 years, for over 10 years, right? We have helped more than 15,000 people from over 60 different countries to come to Canada. And here at E-Visa, we speak English, Portuguese, Spanish, French, and Farsi. So we have a variety of different ways to serve you on your own language. And we have been nominated top choice as an immigration firm for 4 consecutive years. So that's definitely a great achievement for us. And despite the fact I'm here in Vancouver, where our headquarters is, we have also office in Toronto. We have operations in Brazil and also in Iran. And we also have consultants based in Calgary and France. There we go. So a little bit about me. I'm have the RCIC IRB certification, and I'm in good standing with the College of Immigration Consultants of Canada. But something very unique about me is that before working with immigration, I was actually a computer scientist, right? So my first major is computer science, and I hold a master business MBA in project management and entrepreneurship. Um, okay, so although I'm speaking here today on behalf of E-Visa, as I mentioned, we have a big team of consultants that's spread out across Canada and in the entire world. And of course, we are all duly regulated with the proper designation College for Immigration Consultants. And we, as a group, we offer different solutions to everybody that wants to come to Canada, either temporarily or permanently. Okay. Well, so let's just jump in to talk about what you guys came here to see, to hear, right? So how are we foreseeing that the year of 2025 is going to go in terms of immigration? Okay. So first, we are expecting more focus on the federal immigration pathways than provincial immigration. This doesn't mean that provincial immigration won't happen. It still has a huge allocation assigned for provincial immigration, but the most focus is on the federal immigration, okay? And within the federal, we have I would say three actually, big focus, okay? First, we are seeing that the government of Canada is really focused on helping those who are already in Canada transition to permanent residency, okay? So it's like enough to just come as a visitor and be here? No, you have to be qualified for the Canadian Experience Class category in order to be qualified. Or in other words, even considering the possible new pathways that are open up in the near future, you have to have some Canadian work experience, right? So usually you obtain those if you came as a student and then qualified for the post-graduation work permit, or if you came as a temporary foreign worker with support of an employer, for example, right? So those through those two pathways, you can accumulate Canadian experience and then be part of the profile that the government of Canada is focused on right now. For everybody that's everywhere, either in Canada or anywhere in the world, there is also a great focus on occupations in demand, right? So those skills and competencies that the government of Canada has mapped that's lacking in Canada, and therefore we need to bring from overseas. It is a great focus as well. And I would say there is 5 great areas, but I would say everything related to healthcare, everything related to engineering and construction, and I would say also technology would be the greatest focus. There's also agriculture. We can go in more detail later, but if you have experience in one of the occupations in demand, you have a pathway either inside Canada or outside Canada, okay? There's also focus on people that are willing to learn French and reside outside Quebec, so that's one of the priorities as well. And something that we can actually see in the planning, but we see the movement, especially when we review the provincial programs, there's also a greater focus on smaller communities, what we call regional immigration, right? So if you are here in Canada and you decide to come to Vancouver or Toronto, for example, you have options, but if you go to a smaller city, further away from the biggest city centers in Canada, you have additional options that are available for regional immigration, okay? So another things that are coming that are somehow scary or exciting. So I'll start with the scarier one. The government has announced that they will eliminate points received for arranged employment, okay? Which in other words means pretty much LMIA. If you have LMIA today, you have either 50 points or 200 points into the express entry profile, right? Which is an advantage for you to qualify for immigration, but expected for spring 2025, meaning sometime in April or May, very soon, the government is going to remove those points, remove that advantage. So it's definitely great news for those who don't have. It may be a little bit frustrating for those who have the additional points, but I would say it would be more fair across the pool of candidates to not have those points. We don't know the details yet. We don't know if the government is going to keep the points for those who already have a valid LMIA approved. So just not, for example, for people that create the profile afterwards, maybe they won't, or maybe that people that got LMIA approved after a certain date, they won't have. We don't know exactly what's going to be the applicability of these changes, right? How exactly they're going to affect who already has the points. However, what we have been seeing from this Minister of Immigration is that they are concerned about people that qualified based on assumption, and they are protecting those people to continue to qualify. So I'm very optimistic that despite this change, the people that qualified should still be able to claim those points, and then slowly they will stop having the ability to have additional points, okay? Something that's very exciting that's coming also in the next month is the new caregiver program. The government just announced that's going to be available on March 31st. We don't have additional details besides what was posted from last year to this date, but we know that could be a great opportunity for people to transition to permanent residency. The eligibility criteria is very low. It is necessary just CLB5 in either English or French, possibly some work experience, I would say starting from 6 months to 1 year. And of course, having a family here in Canada that has a baby or someone with disability or someone that's elderly that needs care. Of course, if you are going for taking care of somebody with disability or elderly, you need some specific training to take care of that person. I would say some nursing background or personal support worker background. But if you are coming to take care of a child, that's usually not necessary. You can qualify without any specific training. Usually it's recommended to have just the basic CPR training. And of course, the CLB5 is required for language because in case you need help, you need to be able to call for help, right? So let's explain a little bit more about these focus, right? So a lot have been said that Canada has been limiting the number of people in 2025, and that's not true, okay? As you can see here, in 2025, Canada is expecting almost 700,000 people arriving on a temporary resident visa, okay? This means as a worker or as a student. It's a lot of people, okay? Which means Canada's doors is still wide open, okay? What the government announced is they will now monitor this number and make sure that doesn't grow without control, okay? These numbers are still the greatest numbers within the entire history of Canada, right? So Canada continues with doors wide open. It's just controlling in a way that it doesn't go beyond what they are expecting, okay? But now talking about permanent residency, right? I assume that a majority of you guys are already here. And why did I tell you that the focus is on people that are in Canada? So we can see here that in the immigration level plan that was announced end of last year about the planning for the next 3 years, we have in Canada focus. This means people here that accumulated Canadian experience, okay? As I mentioned, people that came as a student and then obtained the post-graduation work permit would then qualify for the Canadian experience class. It'd be within this this path, for example, one of the pathways that are available. Or if you came as a temporary foreign worker, or if you came as a spouse with an open work permit, all these pathways would allow you to qualify for the In Canada focus. And that's the biggest number in terms of goals that the federal government has for the economic immigration, okay? The second biggest is the federal economic priorities. So here we have people anywhere in the world that is in the in-demand occupations, okay? And then we also have people that want to have the ability to speak French, but want to reside outside Quebec. We are expecting then about 30,000 people applying through that pathway, okay? So we have, of course, other pathways. We have here some pilots. It's about 10,000. The Atlantic immigration is about 5,000, sorry. Provincial nominee, it's a big chunk as well. It's 55,000 nominations expected for provincial nominee programs. However, it is important to mention that last year, this number was 110,000. So it was the number that suffered the biggest cut. Okay, so that's why we see that inversion here, right? More focus on the federal, a little bit less focus on the provincial programs. Okay. When we talk about both the in Canada focus or the occupations, the priorities for Canada, we are talking about express entry, okay? Express entry is the most popular way to immigrate to Canada. It is the most straightforward as well because it's kind of, electronically, so it is easier for you to, navigate the system and understand the system. Of course, it is always best to have professional advice to know how to complete your express entry profile, how to optimize your express entry profile. But in simple words, you can create a profile by disclosing your age, your education level, your work experience, your language proficiency in either English or French or both, right? And then you have also to provide information about siblings in Canada, or completion of study program in Canada, or work experience in Canada. And all this together will assign you a number of points and enter your profile into the pool. And based on this profile, you may be selected to apply, okay? So a little bit here, that's important to say. A lot of people think that just go online and start completing the application. You need to do some prep work. It is important, for example, that you have your language test ready before you can create your profile, okay? And the language test is within the minimum points that are necessary for each program. And of course, that you can understand how that can combine with your other skills, assign a certain number of points. Education, you don't only disclose your education level, you need to go through a process called education credential assessment. And only when you have that reporting, you can then register that education level in your Express Entry profile. And of course, the work history is very important as well. You have to do very aware of how you're going to qualify, what's the correct occupation that you have to assign, and how that occupation can increase your chances of success. So it's important to understand, like, is my occupation considered a skilled worker occupation? What's the tier level of my occupation? Do I have higher chances through the federal or through the provincial programs that are available for me with this occupation? So there is a lot of, let's say, prepping and planning before you can get to this point, but it's definitely straightforward, because once you enter the Express Entry pool and you are assigned a number of points for your profile, the government of Canada will do rounds of invitation to invite people according to certain criteria. So we are having specific draws for French, health, science, technology, engineering, and math, transport, trades, agriculture. We are having specific draws also for Canadian experience class. We have specific draws for provincial programs. And then if you receive an invitation to apply, you have 60 days to submit your application, and then your permanent residence application, it is processed and hopefully approved within 6 months or less, okay? So just for you to understand the provincial nominee programs, each single province of Canada has a collection of options, a collection of programs available, right? So each one has the authority to define their specific criteria. It's 10 provinces and 3 territories. It's definitely a great variety of options. And I would say right now we're seeing that Atlantic immigration continues to be a very great choice for provincial immigration. Manitoba, Saskatchewan, they're definitely like offering additional options for those who wanted to have alternatives besides the Express Entry, right? And both Express Entry and provincial programs can work combined as well, because some provinces, they will look into the Express Entry pool to select candidates. So this happens a lot with the occupations in demand. If you're in healthcare, for example, and you have a profile into the Express Entry system, you may be selected by the federal government, but it may also be selected by Ontario, by Nova Scotia, by Alberta. So different provinces, they also have the ability to search profiles into the Express Entry pool to select candidates that have the skills and experience that they require. So whoever wants to plan to emigrate to Canada in 2025 has to be aiming these 4 pillars, okay? If you are here in Canada already, which I think is majority of you, you have to be cautious of what occupation you are working, right? It is tier 0, 1, 2, or 3. It will qualify for Canadian experience class. Do we have additional opportunities according to that occupation, right? So for Canadian experience, you basically need to be considered skilled worker to qualify. I have seen a lot of people sometimes that come here, start working, and just like when it's almost over their work permit, they decided to look what are the options, and then don't have enough time to transition, right? So it is important for you to know what to do and what to work, and what are the options available according to your profile that you can interchangeably consider for an occupation that eventually will bring you additional opportunities to emigrate to Canada, okay? Occupations in demand, so there is a huge list of availability for the federal government, and there's also different lists for provincial governments, usually even larger list than the federal. That's very important. So when we think strategically, you can consider among the list what are the occupations that make sense to you, to your profile, to your background, that could be a good strategy for you to transition, to help you transition to permanent residency. Regionalization, we do have lots of different programs focused on smaller communities. So we saw a lot of people from Toronto, for example, right? People in Toronto have probably a pathway through Federal Skilled Worker Canadian Experience class. If you want additional options, we have new programs available that includes a lot of smaller cities in Ontario and other provinces. That could be a strategy for you to pursue. And definitely, if you wanted to have additional options as well, you may consider learning French, because I would say if you wanted to live outside Quebec, very few people speak French, to be honest. So you need English to get it to the job market, to connect and live in Canada outside Quebec. But French open doors for your immigration. Okay, it could be a good strategy for you to consider as well. So who are the people that Canada is now looking for, right? So, for example, you can open a profile into the Express Entry system if you have high school, okay? However, Canada is looking people highly educated, okay? So definitely if you have like additional to bachelor, like postgraduate or 2 diplomas or master's or doctor degree, that will enhance your profile. Age, there is no limit in terms of age, but you do receive points according to your age. Up to 30, you have maximum points. Up to 34, 35, you still have very good points. Doesn't mean that if you are over 35, you won't be able to emigrate. It's just like you will be losing some points in your profile, okay? Language skills, I would say if we consider the weight of points for every single skill that we're discussing here, the language skills are the ones that have the highest weight on your profile, on your points. And we do recommend that you have English or French at advanced level, or both. And if you have both, then you can have English and French at intermediate level. Okay. I would say skilled worker experience. This program is based on economic goals. It is Canada trying to bring people that will work in Canada and contribute to the Canadian labor market. Okay. So you have to have at least 1 year within usually 10 years of work experience to be considered a skilled worker. And then different programs have different criteria. For example, for the occupations in demand, you just need 6 months. However, in the past 3 years. For the Atlantic migration, you need 1 year in the past 3 years. For some provincial programs, you need 2 years in the past 5 years. So really depends, but in general, it is at least 1 year of work experience for you to qualify, and maximum points when it comes to the points for the express entry, you receive having 3 years within the past 10 years, okay? Enough funds to settle in Canada. That's important, specifically if you're coming from overseas or if you are qualifying without Canadian experience. Once you have Canadian experience, or if you have LMIA in Canada, then you are not required to prove funds, okay? And I would say the greatest pathway right now is to focus on occupation in demand or in Canadian experience, okay? That's let's say, the most straightforward pathway for immigration, especially in 2025. So for those who doesn't know, a lot of people think like skilled worker, you have to prove like very special skills that are outstanding, and it's like hard to prove. And that's not true. For you to be considered skilled worker, you just have to have experience in one of the occupations that is classified under Tier 0, Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3. And Tier 0, it includes managers, directors, assistant managers in all occupations, no matter what manager you are. Like you can be manager of a restaurant, you can be manager of a store, you can be manager of a laundry place, like a hair salon. If you are a manager or assistant manager, you are tier 0, okay? You can be also tier 1, so usually engineers, software developers, game developers, doctors, lawyers, accountants, also marketing specialists, for example, business consultants, mostly will fit on the tier 1. So the criteria here is if you need a university degree to perform your work, you probably are under tier 1. And here I would say there are a lot of opportunity for occupations that do not need to be regulated in Canada. So I would say if you're a lawyer from overseas, most likely need to study law here in Canada in order to become a lawyer, right? But your experience as a lawyer overseas will count as a skilled experience, even though you didn't validate your diploma in Canada. So that also very important to say, like, doesn't matter. You do not require validation of your credentials in order to qualify to claim your experience as a skilled worker. If you're a doctor, if you're a nurse, if you're an engineer, you can count that experience exactly as is, as long as you obtained and you can prove, okay? Of course, if you're in Canada, then you can only claim occupations that you are qualified to perform. And then I would say in this case, you could still, for example, if you're a lawyer, you could still be a legal assistant or a paralegal, and then that would be possibly under tier 2, which is usually for occupations that you require some kind of training, maybe a technical training, a vocational training, or a diploma. However, you not necessarily require a university degree, okay? So for tier 2, we have graphic designers, cook, bakers, all levels of supervisors, all levels of trades, they all fit on tier 2 or tier 3, okay? So there are a lot of occupations that are skilled worker. I see a lot of people that they don't think that they would qualify as a skilled worker because of this misconception, and they qualify. All you have to do is to prove that you have experience in one of the occupations classified in this huge list and that you were paid for that work. So volunteer work doesn't count, but internship counts, okay? All right, so now that we know a little bit who's a skilled worker, you can be a skilled worker and qualify for immigration, even though you are not in an occupation in demand. But your chances can be higher if you are in an occupation in demand, because the government of Canada selects people specifically in health occupations or in agriculture or in science, technology, engineering, for example, okay? So these are called the category draws, okay? So imagine that if we're competing with everybody that's currently in the pool of candidates of the express entry, okay? The competitiveness of your profile against everyone else is very high. But if we're only competing with people within a certain field, for example, in the healthcare occupations or in agriculture, your competitiveness, right, is lower. It's a smaller group. And then the points for selection is lower, okay? And that increases your chances of success. So focusing on occupations in demand, either because you already have an experience and you already have the background for that, is great. Or if you come to Canada and maybe you wanted to study, it is good to think of steering your career to fit in one of these occupations, because you increase your chances and your options of success, okay? But remember, occupations in demand allow you to qualify either you are in Canada or overseas, okay? So as I mentioned, English is one of the, languages in general, it's one of the greatest score, the greatest weight on your scores on express entry, right? And I mentioned to you guys, it is required to have advanced level. It's not required. It is preferable. It is recommended, okay? So here I put in yellow what usually you are required to have to open ex-president profile. So the minimum is to have 7 in all abilities, okay? We actually measure through the CLB level. CLB is abbreviation for Canadian Language Benchmark Level, right? It's a way to level all the other tests that are accepted. So let's talk about CELPIP. So CELPIP goes from 0 to 12. 7, I would say it's like a high intermediate. It's a very good intermediate. It's not advanced. And if you have this level, you can mostly create an ex-president profile. But for the best points, we recommend that you have at least 9 in your abilities, 9 of 12. So then you probably won't be intermediate anymore. You'll be probably on the advanced level. I will let my friend Soroush talk more about the levels and the tests in his presentation. But that's an example of what you need to open your profile and what you need to have greater points, okay? A lot of people, because they believe they're not able to achieve CLB 9, they don't do the test at all. They postpone. I would say don't do that. Opening your profile, it is a positive risk. It is an opportunity. You may be selected. The government of Canada may, decide one day, okay, let's invite everybody that's in the pool in this occupation or with this criteria. And it happened before. In February 13, 2021, the government of Canada cleared the pool and invite pretty much everybody that had Canadian experience. So, put your fear aside and have your test done, have your test ready, and be available. Create your profile. But this also means that you are ready for several opportunities that may come your way, because we are considering that in 2025, the government of Canada may open a new TR to PR pathway, which is a pathway for those who are in Canada. And if you remember anything about the past, or if you're following immigration for a while now, in 2021 as well, the government announced mid of April that they would open a program like that. They opened on May 6, 2021. And if you applied, great, you were in, you received your permanent residency. If you didn't apply, you lost a great opportunity to apply. And that was pretty much like whoever was able to apply was whoever was ready, because with 15, 20 days notice, you were not able to, book your test, get the results, and then be ready to apply. So you gotta be ready, because opportunities can come your way and you have to have your documents ready. We call here at E-Visa PR ready, and we actually have a package for that as well. Like if you don't know what process we're going to pursue, but you just want to be ready to listen to the opportunities that may become available, then that's a package that you can choose, PR ready, okay? All right. Of course, there's all the other tests here that are accepted for English, CELPIP, IELTS, and PTE, for French, TEF Canada, and TCF Canada. We do recommend CELPIP as the main test for people to apply. We have feedback from thousands of clients that are happy with the structure of the test and the way that's evaluated. And guys, it is Canadian. We gotta support Canada more than ever, right? So that's very important. Don't forget that. If you are in Canada and you want to make Canada your home, start supporting Canadians as well. Okay, a lot of people think that for immigration, a lot of funds are required. And yes, we have to pay for the tests, for translations, for your education credential assessment, for consulting services, for the processing fees, right? But when it comes to required funds for immigration, if you do not have Canadian experience class, this is the amount that you're required to present that you have available, okay? So if you're single, around 15,000 Canadian dollars. If you're a couple, around 18,000, and then about additional 4,000 for each additional family member. And for family member, I mean, spouse and kids. You can only have one spouse, right? So I would say for additional kids. So maybe one kid, two kids, three kids. So the amount is proportional according to the size of your family. And then remember, if you have Canadian Experience Class or if you have an LMIA or LMIA equivalent job offer, you are not required to prove those funds. So who are being invited to apply in 2025? Okay, so it has been a great year so far. We just started, we are finishing the second month, right? So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 draws already. Great numbers. We see 2 draws for Canadian Experience Class at 4,000 people invited. There was another one at 1350. We had draws for provincial nominee programs were 3 as well. Of course, the numbers are a little bit lower because of pretty much they invite everybody, okay, that's available at the time. So we see here the numbers, and we have past week the invitation that was for 6,500 people who has French added to their profile, French at minimum CLB 7, okay? And that was a great number of people invited as well. Of course, the year is just starting. We haven't seen yet the category specific draws, the in demand occupations draws, but I would say, in my opinion, is the next. We probably are going to see in the next month draws for healthcare, draws for STEM, which includes science, technology, engineering, math, and trades. I would say that are my guess that is going to come next. Okay. We talked a lot about how it is the greatest opportunity to transition to permanent residency in 2025 to qualify for Canadian Experience Class, right? We can see here was the most number of people invited to apply. Of course, the cutoff points is still very high. As I mentioned to you guys, people are counting here additional 50 points for having an LMIA. So if you don't have LMIA, it may be still time to consider, may work or may not, but just as an information, I applied for LMIA in January 2nd, was on January 2nd, 2025, and was approved on February 14th. So about 42 days, okay? And this person then got additional 50 points and was invited, it's going to be invited to apply very soon. We are very excited for that client. And a lot of people are afraid of trying that option. And I know that there are a lot of people waiting for LMIA to be processed right now, but that could be an option as well. But if you don't have, and considering the news that the government will remove the 50 points, the advantage of having the LMIA points, we are expecting these points to come down and probably will reduce about, I would say, from the start around 30 to 40 points, and then normalizing around 470 in the near future. Okay, so let's see how it goes. But that's means even if you see here 520 points, don't get upset if you have calculated your points and they're not there yet. Let's work together to discuss your case and understand how you can plan your immigration, not to what you're seeing right now, but what we are expecting to happen for the upcoming months. Okay. So a lot of people are already here. But if you are overseas and you want to take advantage of the Canadian Experience Class, one of the easiest way to apply and to qualify for a work permit is through studies, okay? But now the word changes as well on the qualification for the post-graduation work permit, and you have to study with purpose, either bachelor, master's degree, MBA or doctor degree, or areas in demand. So there is a huge list of occupations, in fields in demand that you can study and will qualify for the post-graduation work permit. So it's not limited as one may think, but now not all programs qualify for the post-graduation work permit. You have to be aware if you want to use that pathway as a way to come to Canada sooner and have additional options to immigrate to Canada. And of course, try to always focus on smaller cities, then you most likely will have additional options to transition to permanent residency, okay? So we mentioned about the change of the post-graduation work permit. One big change is right now, in order to apply, you need to present your language test, okay? It's the same language test required for immigration. So hopefully you do for your post-graduation work permit and then you are done with it because you are ready then to apply for immigration. That's great. So pretty much the government of Canada is streamlining a pathway for you that studied, then qualify for the post-graduation work permit, and then you'll be ready for permanent residency. That's great. A lot of people were not happy to have to study a little bit more before they can qualify. Sorry, guys. There was a little interruption here. Let's go back.
That's okay, it happens.
I don't know. Sorry about that. So let me just go back. I think my screen stopped sharing, right?
We see your like the you're not signed in page.
Oh, okay. So let
Yeah.
me stop share for a moment just to fix here.
Perfect.
And sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, technology is always finicky.
Right.
So we will have a questions and answers at the end. So if you have any questions, make sure to post it and we will review and answer all your questions as well.
Yeah, there are so many questions in the chat box for you.
That's good. That's good. All right. So for some reason, I get signed out and I had to go through the 2 steps verification to join again. So I'm really sorry. But now I think I'm back. Let me go back. Okay, there we go. So post-graduation work permit changes. As I was mentioning, the biggest change is to be required for the English test. And one positive change is if you come to study a master's in Canada, either a professional master's such as MBA or academic master's or doctorate degree, regardless of duration of your program of studies, you do qualify for a post-graduation work permit of 3 years. And college or university programs in areas of that are in demand, you also qualify for the post-graduation work permit, and then in this case, it's according to the duration of your program, okay? Coming as a family, so now a spouse can qualify for open work permit if the program of studies of the main applicant is a master's or a doctorate degree, or a professional degree such as medical, dentistry, law, education, nurse, or engineering, some examples of programs that may qualify for a spouse. And however, regardless of the period of studies, the spouse can always qualify for open work permit as a company spouse of a post-graduation work permit holder, but the principal applicant, the post-graduation work permit holder, must hold a job offer in a tier 0 or tier 1 occupation, or in a specific occupation that's on the list on the tier 1 or tier 3 eligible occupations, okay? So not all occupations as well. So not all occupations as before, but this only means that you got to strategize and make a planning before you can qualify and secure the work permit for your spouse. Children are always qualified to come and join the principal applicant study in Canada as a family, and they do qualify for an open study permit that allows them to study for free from kindergarten to secondary school. And of course, a lot of people say, and their main question is, I wanted to work in Canada, or for those who are in Canada and eventually have already a post-graduation work permit, has a work permit now that's currently about to expire, and they want to seek options to extend their work permit, there are ways, right? So ILIA, for example, continues to be a great way, because even though they may not give additional points for the profile at the express entry, continues to be a pathway to allow you to have up to 3 years work permit. So if you're here in Canada and you need a pathway to continue working in Canada while you continue to pursue options to immigrate, LMIA continues to be a great option. And if you are in technology or engineering, we still have Global Talent Stream, which is easier, straightforward, approved in 10, 15 days. Great option to consider as well. We do have free trade agreements. So this is for certain countries that have the agreement with Canada. So I would say Mexico, US, Peru, Colombia, Korea. We have Australia, Brunei, Philippines. So we have different countries that have different free trade agreements, and this could be an option for you to qualify. Some people between 18 to 35 years old that are from the countries that Canada has a youth agreement, like Japan, European countries, Australia, New Zealand, have options to qualify through the working holiday visa or young professional. If you are, language savvy, like learning languages, there is a great option right now to obtain the work permit to the French mobility program. So if you have CLB 5, which is like very, very pre-intermediate, very low level in terms of proficiency in French, only in listening and speaking, and any job offer in Canada. So if you have support of employer, but doesn't matter if it's tier 0, 1, tier 3, you can apply for work permit based on the French mobility program. That's up to 3 years. It's a great program. And I would say Soroush can talk more about it, but like we have seen clients go from 0 to CLB 5 in 4, 5, 6 months. So that's a possibility. Of course, require effort, but it is possible. And, you may consider that pathway to extend your work permit. And then once you extend the work permit, if before the changes of the LMIA points, you can even eventually count 50 points if you have a work permit based on the French mobility program, because that 50 points it's based on any closed work permit. And if you continue studying French, you also have additional options with the specific rounds of invitation for people who speak French, okay? I see a lot of people also here in Canada for a long time, and a lot of them wouldn't qualify for Canadian Experience class because they decided to open a business, right? Or maybe because they have a business overseas, they continue to work remotely. Let me just get a sip of water here. So if you have used your time in Canada to open a business and you have clients who are operating a business, you do qualify for a work permit for operating a business. It's called the C11 exemption, and that's a great option for you to extend your stay in Canada, or to even find a pathway that will assist you to transition to immigration as well. So operating a business could to stay in Canada and continue working, or to come to Canada and start working in Canada, okay? And of course, you can always be an intra-company transferee, which means being transferred from a multinational corporation to Canada. If you apply for immigration, you can always qualify for the Bridging Open Work Permit. There's also a current exemption for provincial nominee programs as well that qualify. But overall, if you apply for any immigration program in Canada, you may qualify for the Bridging Open Work Permit. And I would say for all the singles out there, right, don't do fake marriages, please. But if you are single and eventually found a loved one that it is Canadian citizen or permanent resident, we can always have the option to apply for the spousal sponsorship, and that would be also a pathway to apply for work permit while you are waiting for permanent residency, okay? So when I say getting married here, please make sure that I'm not advising in any way for you to go through a fake marriage. It has to be genuine, it has to be love, but if the love happens to be with a Canadian or permanent resident, that could be an option for us to explore, okay? So yeah, that's it. So I would reiterate here, we are a big firm. We have over 15,000 of successful cases, and we are more than happy to assist you in case you decide to consult with us to understand how you can make your plan to come to Canada successful. And I will leave here some of our contact information before we go to the questions and answers. So if you have any questions or if you want to book a consultation, you can send us an email, contact@evisaimmigration.com, or you can go to our website. We have online booking. You can just go there, put your consultation, the time slots of choice, and then do the payment, and the consultation will be confirmed, and then you see one of our immigration consultants. For those who love WhatsApp, we also have servicing WhatsApp. Our number is right there. Feel free to send a hi, or our direct phone number as well. Okay, so please take a moment to take a
Thank you so
screenshot.
much, Marilene. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yes. And then Patrick, should I go to the questions and answers right now before we transition to Soroush?
If you want to take like one or two questions now, that's good, and then we'll leave the rest till the end.
At the end, okay. So I have a lot of specific question. Well, let's see here. Questions from Nahal Vazan. Hi, I have a question. I have 6 months work experience as electrical engineer and 6 months as an IT engineer user support. Can I claim that as 1 year of work experience? Yes, you can. The great thing of the Canadian, so yes, you can, but let's separate the questions here. If this experience are in Canada, doesn't matter how you accumulated 1 year. I had one client once that he accumulated 1 year with 7 different employers. So he literally worked 1.5 months or 2 months with each employer until he accumulated 1 year of experience, and he was able to qualify for Canadian experience classes. Not a problem. However, for the federal skilled worker, meaning if your experience is outside Canada, you have to have at least 1 year of continuous work experience. So you can count, like, for example, if you have 1 year in a different occupation continuously, and then you have 6 months, you count as 2 years, okay? But at least 1 year has to be continuously, okay? So in this case, we have to assess how would that be considered as continuous. If there was no break, for example, that could still be considered as continuous, okay? And then I think it's another related question here from Euchin. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I hope you understand that I'm answering your question. So the question is, you mentioned that we need 1 year of continuous employment. If I have 1 year part-time work experience and a few months of full-time work experience within the same profession outside of Canada, how would that impact my points for express entry? So first, to be considered full-time, you need 30 hours per week. Okay, so for the period of 12 months, you have to have accumulated at least 1,560 hours, okay? So if you have accumulated that, even though you are between part-time and full-time, you have full-time experience of 1 year. If not, what we are going to do is to separate, like this period was part-time, less than 30 hours per week, and this period was full-time. So we will account for, and we have to review in this case your specific case to confirm if you qualify or not for the 1 year of continuous work experience, okay? But if you meet the minimum of 1,560 hours within 12 months, you then can claim 1 year of full-time work experience, okay? Okay, I would say for those who wanted to book with us, We do have a $10 off coupon for everybody attending this seminar, and the code is CELPIP25. So go to our website, make sure to write CELPIP25 on your checkout. You're going to get a special discount with our consultation, okay? And yeah, I think I can now hand over to Soroush to go over his presentation and share insightful information about the test.
Of course. Thank you very much, Marilene.
My pleasure.
Patrick, would you like to get started? Would you like to say a few words or?
Sure, yeah. Just
Yeah.
wanted to introduce everyone to Soroush and his language school in BC, ILIA Academy. They're an excellent prep provider for CELPIP. They've been a longtime partner of ours. So definitely consider them, you know, if you're looking at getting support preparing for the CELPIP test with a teacher that is officially licensed by CELPIP. That can really help you go the extra mile and get that the best score that you can, because we do have self-study products, but we do recommend consulting with ILIA Academy to prepare for the test as well. So just wanted to introduce Soroush. He's going to go over the CELPIP test and also talk about the prep classes that his organization offers. Take it away, Soroush.
Oh, thank you so much, Patrick. First of all, I apologize if my voice sounds a bit hoarse today. I have a bit of cold. 2 days ago, I got back from Ottawa. It was minus 16, 17, and I'm back here. So it's 6, 7 in Vancouver. So this is my voice. Sorry, but I just tried my best to speak as clearly as possible. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on CELPIP and immigration today. My name is Soroush Azani, and I'm the founder and owner of ILIA English Academy. On behalf of our entire team, I sincerely appreciate your time and participation today. If you would like to know about ILIA English Academy, we are a Vancouver-based online language school specializing in CELPIP, IELTS, ESL, French, and Spanish. With around 30 years of experience, we proudly serve students from around the world, and our instructors are based across Canada in Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, and Montreal, as well as in Costa Rica, because our Spanish teacher is originally from Costa Rica and she gets connected from there. We are also honored to be a CELPIP official network member in Canada and an approved training center. We offer both preparation courses and mock tests to help you achieve your desired goals. There are a couple of things which make our school different, and I'm going to mention a few of them here. We are a top-rated school with over 180 5-star Google reviews. Our student success speaks for itself, I should say. And our team consists of CELPIP certified instructors, each with at least 15 years of experience. We mainly focus on fast-paced, result-driven learning without breaking the bank, of course. And our courses are designed to help you reach your desired goals efficiently. And practice makes perfect. I mean, that's why we offer practice tests to boost your confidence and help you ace your CELPIP exam. Let me give you a rundown on our activities and the classes that we offer at ILIA English Academy. We offer general English classes for basic, elementary, and pre-intermediate levels, Power English for intermediate, upper intermediate, and advanced classes and levels, IELTS preparation, IELTS mock tests, paper-based and computer delivered, CELPIP preparation, CELPIP mock test, CEL preparation, job interview preparation, free discussion classes, English grammar clinic, essay writing for school and college students, French program, as Marilene mentioned in her presentation. For those of you who are looking to complete your immigration process, we also offer French classes to help you meet your language requirements and expand your opportunities in Canada. So you can call us for those classes for TEF and TCF, which are pronounced as TEF and TSF en français, if I'm not mistaken. And we also offer Spanish classes.
Hey,
So,
Soroush,
yep.
sorry, are you sharing your slides right now or not yet?
No, no. I'm going to share
Not
with
yet.
you.
Oh, okay, just wanted to
I'm-
make sure that there wasn't a technical
No,
issue.
I'm going to share in a
Perfect.
minute.
Sounds good.
Before I start my presentation on CELPIP, I'm going to share some of our social media links. You can follow us there if you're interested. So I'm going to put everything here. Okay, so I hope you can see everything. This is our Instagram. We have a very active page on Telegram if you have an account. This is our Telegram. If you would like to be in contact with us on WhatsApp, this is our direct link. Okay, here. And this is our WhatsApp link. There's so many other links. You can find us on LinkedIn, and we even have TikTok. Yeah, exactly. You can also Google us. You can find us on YouTube. But these are three of those links that can be helpful and useful for you. So, okay. So before I get started with my presentation, I'd like to ask everybody a question. Have you tried CELPIP before? I mean, tell me about your CELPIP status. So have you taken CELPIP before? What scores have you got so far? And are you planning to take the test again or for the first time in the near future? Age 8. Yes, not yet.
Oh, it's like
Yes.
a mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yes, overall 10, but looking okay. Wow, so many responses. Beautiful. Beautiful. No. Yes. Planning to take again. No, trying to extend my self-pip test is on the 27th of this month. All right. Are you ready for that? Taking the first time. So many answers. Listen 10. Oh, I love you guys. You're so passionate. I mean, just as we ask a question, we receive millions of answers. Beautiful. 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 Wow. To be honest with you, I just wanted to ask another question, but all right. So I prefer to, oh, beautiful. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna start here. Okay. So can everybody see my screen? Patrick, is it okay? Is it
You
good?
just have to go into like presentation mode. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so is it fine?
Yes.
All right. Be self-pip ready with us with ILIA English Academy. As an official network member in Canada, we are here to help you ace your exam and achieve your dreams. So, what is CELPIP? CELPIP, or the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program, is a standardized test that assesses English proficiency in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It's widely used for immigration, professional certification, and education purposes in Canada. So I'm pretty much sure that maybe some of you, many of you are familiar with the CELPIP test, but I need to start from scratch and talk about CELPIP and like the components of the test. And okay, so you know that there are three tests um, accepted by RCC for immigration purposes. So CELPIP, in my opinion, and also as Marilene mentioned, is the I don't say it's an easy test. Many people say CELPIP is the easiest test. There is no easy test in the world, in my opinion. So why is but in my opinion, CELPIP is more doable, okay, and less challenging in comparison with the other tests. So why is CELPIP growing in popularity for Canadian immigration? First of all, it's quick. I mean, it's quick online results. It's fully computer based. It's accepted by IRCC. You will have lots of work and study opportunities. It's a single test sitting, downloadable score reports, Canadian English focus, no complex academic content, and only one question type. So in the other test, there are more than 10 question types, and every question type has got its own strategy. But here in CELPIP, in listening and reading, you'll be dealing with only one question type, which is a multiple choice. So A, B, C, D. Okay, so that makes it more doable. Not easier. Don't use easy for CELPIP. Thank you. So, and it's currently being tested in more than 30 countries. If I'm not mistaken, Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, it's 34 countries now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with it. I know that we have over 170 test centers worldwide, but not sure, but you're probably right about 30,
I
34
checked 2 days ago.
countries.
I checked 2 days ago. It was 34.
There you go.
34, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So about the test, it's available in two versions: CELPIP General Test and CELPIP LS Test. So general test is used by those seeking permanent PR, purposes, and LS for like Canadian citizenship. The CELPIP general test evaluates all four language skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, while the LS one focuses on listening and speaking only. That's what it's called LS, listening, speaking. The general one takes approximately 3 hours, LS around 1 hour and 10 minutes. Listening, reading, writing, and speaking, the four skills of CELPIP. Listening will take you around between 47 to 55 minutes, reading 55 to 60, writing 53 to 60, and speaking 15 to 20 minutes. The fees for general is 290 before tax, and in different countries, it varies. I mean, by location. And the LS one is 195 Canadian dollars before tax. So test components: listening, reading, writing, speaking. So the best way to prepare for the CELPIP test is to familiarize yourself with the format of the test and what to expect on the test day. So in the listening parts, the audio passage is provided before it plays, allowing you to get a sense of the topic. The passage plays only once, so active listening is essential. Questions are presented after the audio has finished, ensuring you focus on comprehension first. You will be provided with paper and pen for taking notes, and timers will help you manage your time effectively. You will see the timer in blue, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on the screen. As the test progresses, both the passages and the questions become more challenging, requiring increased attention and analytical skills. And this is on the right side. So the 6 parts to the listening test and a screenshot of one of the questions. So for reading, there are 4 parts to the reading section. And the first one is reading correspondence, reading to apply a diagram, reading for information, reading for viewpoints, and the passage appears on the left side of the screen. The questions appear on the right side. And there is a countdown timer which helps you manage your time effectively throughout the test. Moving on to the writing part. So there are two sections. In the first section, you'll be given, the first task is on writing an email. The second one is responding to survey questions. So this is a screenshot of task one right here. And the background information is displayed on the left side, the specific instructions on the right side. And one thing is that you have access to basic editing tools. So you can right click if you're not sure about your spelling and find the right one, right spelling of the word. Word counts will be given at the bottom. And you can do the spell check. And you're expected to write between 150 to 200 words. And then the final part is the speaking part. You don't have to come on a different day to do your speaking test. So you can do all the skills on one day. And some tasks, there are eight parts to the CELPIP speaking test. So giving advice, talking about the personal experience, describing a scene, making predictions, comparing and persuading, dealing with a difficult situation, expressing opinions, describing an unusual situation. Some tasks, while some are only present only text, while others include both text and an image. Each task provides a designated preparation time before you begin speaking. Your responses are recorded and evaluated later by raters to assess your ability to communicate effectively in spoken English. So this is CELPIP level descriptions and CLB equivalents, Canadian Language Benchmark. And this is the conversion table. So we have CLB, we have CELPIP. Marilene talked about these scores before my presentation. IELTS, PT, TEF, and all these tests. If you would like to have this brochure, text us on WhatsApp. I put the link in the chat box for you, and we will definitely share it with you. And now about our classes at ILIA English Academy, Master CELPIP with us. So there is, a brief introduction of what we do at ILIA English Academy. We have expert-led preparation courses. Our dynamic program develops your skills in understanding audio recordings, analyzing reading materials, writing professional emails and surveys, and speaking English fluently and accurately. We do have group, private, and semi-private sessions, and I'm just trying to summarize everything for you. And you can read all these things later if you want. Yeah, with certified instructors, flexible scheduling, and skill-specific training, we provide everything you need to excel in the CELPIP exam. Okay, so I think this is what you're looking for. So if you are a pre-intermediate level student and you would like to reach a band score of 8 or 9, so pre-intermediate or intermediate. If you're a pre-intermediate student, you're expected to be at level 5 of CELPIP. Intermediate, 6 out of 12. So the majority of students who call us for CELPIP, they need the highest band score because they need to gather more points for their immigration purposes. So our whole package for 3 band scores improvement and 1 level of general English improvement. So it will take you either 5 months in group classes, 2-3 months one-on-one private classes, semi-private classes, same as like one-on-one, same quality, same number of sessions, 2-3 months. And if you would like to have skill-specific classes, just a class on reading, listening, reading, speaking, You just need to let us know. 40 sessions for group classes, the whole package. So almost 3 band scores improvement and 1 level improvement in your general English. So 40 sessions, 2 days a week. And so each session is 90 minutes with maximum 6 students in every class, as you can see here. And for the private one, so 40 sessions, will change to 25 sessions, and the same for semi-private. What happens in 40 sessions? So we have 5 months, 8 sessions in each month. In the first month, will be working on your general English. Month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5. Each month, 8 sessions and 1 skill of CELPIP. So 8 sessions listening, 8 sessions reading, writing, and speaking. 5 months, 8 sessions, 40 sessions. But in private classes and semi-private classes, those 8 sessions will decrease to 5 sessions. So 5 sessions of general English, 5 sessions of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So I can share this one with you, and you just need to text us on WhatsApp. I will definitely share it with you. And if you need any consultation, if you have any questions about our courses, you can text us on WhatsApp. Because when I say WhatsApp, because we have students from different countries, not just in Canada. I mean, WhatsApp is the easiest one, I think, and the most accessible one for students. So this is our, registration process. So initial consultation assessments, phone consultation, we assess your background in English, test history in CELPIP, IELTS, TOEFL, Duolingo, and familiarity with CELPIP. Then proficiency check. If you're a pre-intermediate or above, we determine your placement. Otherwise, we may recommend a general English course first. Mock test evaluation, if needed, based on your previous scores or consultation results, we may ask you to take a CELPIP mock test to tailor your learning plan. Course structure and learning approach, test, teach, test, TTT methodology. That's our methodology at ILIA English Academy. We introduce each skill, teach the strategy, and immediately reinforce it with targeted mock tests. Gaps are identified and filled before moving forward. So we teach you, we test you, then we teach you based on your weaknesses, and then we test you, then we teach you. This process goes on and on in all our classes. Frequent mock testing throughout the course. Students take practice tests focusing on different parts of each skill to ensure steady progress. Personalized support. Students have direct access to instructors, and then the classroom platform, school contact numbers, and supervisor support for ongoing guidance. And finally, exam registration and final preparation. Official CELPIP registration. As students approach their first date, we provide a partnership registration link for convenient exam booking, test center referrals. We recommend 2 trusted CELPIP test centers. There are so many test centers and they're all good, but we mostly recommend 2 best ones to our students. And final support and guidance. We ensure students feel confident and prepared for their test, offering additional resources and last-minute strategies. So from step 1 to the door of the venue of the test, the test center will be with you. Okay, and so you can be confident throughout the whole course. What sets ILIA English Academy apart for CELPIP? We are official CELPIP network member in Canada, recognized by Prometric testing for top. We talked about this one before. Certified instructors, authentic CELPIP resources, personalized approach, And then realistic mock tests, proven track record, high pass rates, and glowing testimonials. You can check our Google. I think we have 183 Google reviews so far. We are 5 out of 5 from successful CELPIP candidates. I think I have a screen. I have a slide here. You can see some of our testimonials. Small class sizes and comprehensive expertise. Decades of language education experience integrated into every course. So I'll give you 1 minute time to go through these 5 testimonials from our students. So, Saeed, Ari, Pirelli, and Antwi. Yep. So this is our phone number. This is our QR code if you want to like scan it here. You can do that. I'll share the links again in the chat box. And this is our website address. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Soroush. So I'm just going
Perfect.
to briefly share my slides and then we'll get into the Q&A section.
Sure.
Just give me a second here. Yeah, so I won't take up too much of your time. I'm just going to share a couple updates, folks, and then we'll answer the questions that you have. Okay, here we go. So we got slideshow. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, just an update here. So we have a partnership with National Bank of Canada. So basically, if you go to this offer link, and you open a bank account with National Bank as a newcomer, you will get $300 cash back, to which can help you pay for your expenses. So it can go towards paying for the CELPIP test or any other expenses that you have. Because I know when you move to Canada, there's tons of expenses that you have to take care of. So this can kind of help you a little bit, just get you started with the $300 cash back. So basically, you have to go to this link at the bottom. I'm going to post it in the chat, and then you have to fulfill a couple requirements. So you have to set up your work pay to be deposited into that bank account. And there's a couple other things you have to do, but it's a free offer. You do those steps, and then you'll get the 300 cash back. I think it's within a few months. So this can just give you some extra money to help you with your expenses, including CELPIP. So I'll post the link in the chat, and on the link, you can contact the bank if you have any questions about this particular offer. But you have to go to this specific link to get the offer. So don't go to National Bank's general website. You have to go to this particular link in order to claim this offer. Okay, so I'll just post that in the chat. Okay. Just keep in mind, there are 2 free practice tests on the website. So if you go to the CELPIP website, there is a free section, and you can take the 2 free sample tests that we have, and they will give you scores in listening and reading. So you can see your performance in both of those 2 sections based on how well you do in the practice tests. So you get 2 free tests. We have more that you can buy on our online bookstore, but you get 2 for free. Yeah, to help you out there. Follow us on Instagram. It's CELPIP Test Official. That's our official username. It's a great way to stay up to date. We post news of new test centers we've opened up, study product sales that we have going on, and also more webinars that are coming up. So we'll notify you if you're following us on Instagram. Yeah, and then last but not least, just be wary of scams out there. There's a lot of people that are selling score reports online so that you don't have to take the test. So just steer clear of that because that'll just get you into trouble with your PR or citizenship application. So make sure that you take the test legitimately at one of our test centers, you get your real results, and you use those to apply for your application. So there are a lot of scams out there for everything nowadays. But for CELPIP testing, just make sure you don't try to take any shortcuts because the government of Canada is verifying your scores directly with us. So there's a lot of bad people out there. So just steer clear of them, and you'll be fine. All right. So this is our contact information if you want to get in touch with the CELPIP team by phone or email. We also have our social media channels posted there below. But now we'll spend some time answer as many of the questions as we can. So feel free to type any questions you have for any of the presenters in the chat, and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can.
Just wanted to thank everyone for their interest in receiving the brochure from us. I just checked our WhatsApp. There are so many requests from the attendees today. So we'll definitely share the brochure with you after this webinar. And I shared the links here. So I'm going to share again.
Yeah, and then I'm just going to post the National Bank link in
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh, yeah.
just do that right now. Here we go.
So, Patrick, may I answer one question here?
Yes.
Because there is a question, I mean, Zara and like two other people ask about the reading test of CELPIP. Yeah, reading is the most challenging skill of CELPIP. But but it's not a scary part of the test. So there are steps um, that you need to go through in order to be successful in CELPIP reading. So many students call us for CELPIP reading or CELPIP listening, considered as the most challenging skills of CELPIP. I'm losing my voice, I think. Sorry, I'm just trying to. So the first step is to become a reader. So you need to become a reader. I mean, we don't just provide you with the strategies for different parts of reading in the first place. So there are 5 steps that we follow in our reading classes. First of all, you need to be a reader, then a speed reader. These days we don't read due to like the advancement in technology and stuff like that. So you need to be a read, and we don't have the patience to read. People, I mean, say do not put more than 1 or 2 sentences under, I mean, as a caption under your Instagram video or post because people are not patient enough to read. So first we'll make you a reader, then a speed reader. Then we'll work on your comprehension. Then we combine, no, step 4, combine comprehension with speed reading, and finally we'll be working on the strategies. And the same for listening. First, we'll try to open up your ears. You should be able to hear things. Then we'll provide you with the techniques. So don't worry about reading. It can be the easiest one for you. You just need to follow some steps to succeed in these 2 parts of the test.
That's awesome. And then Sahil asked, what scores do you need to pass the CELPIP test for citizenship, Marilene? Oh, I think you're on mute. Yeah.
Hi, sorry about that. All right, so the CELPIP has a exclusive test for citizenship that only tests 2 skills, so it's much easier than the general test that tests 4 skills, right? So that's one important thing, and it's actually cheaper too, right? Can you please confirm
Yeah, it's
the
195 plus tax. Yeah.
Yes, so it is an option for you if you haven't studied in Canada, because if you studied in Canada, then you can use your credentials. But if you need to do the test, you only need level 4, which is pretty much a basic, I would say. So
That's an elementary level. If you're a good elementary student, getting a band score of 4 in CELPIP in listening and speaking is not a hard thing.
yes, so just need level 4 and just in listening and speaking.
Awesome. Thank you, Marilene. Yeah, so keep in mind, like if you score like a level 3 in listening or speaking, then you would not have met the level 4 requirement. So you have to get a 4 or higher in the
Or hard.
both two components to qualify.
Yes, yes.
Awesome.
And it's great because CELPIP is the only test that has this shorter version that only tests these two skills. So it's actually very great. CELPIP is the way of choice.
Awesome. Thanks, Marilene. See what other questions we have here.
There's this saying in English language, they say, while in Rome, do as what Romans do. While in Canada, take a Canadian test. Seriously, I mean, you're in this, I mean, other tests are also good, but for immigration purposes, CELPIP is the one. I mean, I highly recommend CELPIP to you.
There is some questions here. I saw that there is the general chat and the questions. And I think there's some questions for you, Soroush. Like here says, the value of $80 include how many one-on-one sessions?
Yeah, actually, I just want to respond to this gentleman or lady. I don't know, like, can you text us on WhatsApp? I put the link here. So we'll explain everything to you. So let me put the link again here. Because we can talk about the pricing later, like in.
And there is a very interesting question from Zara that's like, she's CELB 6. Can she get CELB 9 in 3 months?
Exactly. If you, I shared the thing with you, in 3 months, you can take part in our one-on-one classes or semi-private classes, which can be covered in 2 or 3 months. If you take like 2 sessions a week, you can cover everything in 3 months. If you ask for 3 days a week, you can cover everything in 8 weeks, which means 2 months. Definitely possible.
Okay. There's one interesting question here that says, if CELPIP scores are equal to CLB. Yes.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
Canadian language benchmark level is Canadian. CELPIP is a Canadian test. It was created based on the CLB. So it's the only test that the score is equal to CLB. The other tests, you have to have a conversion of the scores.
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I see a lot of I responded to a bunch of questions in the chat already. I'm selecting some. How are we with the time, Patrick? Maybe another.
Yeah, we could spend another 5 minutes and then
Just 5 minutes?
yeah.
Okay.
5,
All
10
right.
minutes is
Leslie
fine.
has asked for 1 or 2 sessions of private. For sure, contact us on WhatsApp, and we'll definitely help you with that. Sure. So thank you for joining us, Yoju.
Okay, so there are very specific questions here, like very case basis. I can comment on those, but I would say, to have a full strategy, we're talking about immigration here, and immigration, like I would say, is a major accomplishment in your life. It's something that you're going to tell your kids, their kids are going to tell their kids, and they say, my great, great, great father emigrated from that country to Canada and established here. So it is a major goal for your entire family, for you, for your, people that are coming after you. So it is very important to strategize. It's not something to take it easy, okay? But I will make some comments here. So I have a question that says the following. I hold a labor market impact assessment LMIE, and I will submit my visa extension application this month to continue my employment as a cashier in Alberta. My Canadian language benchmark is 7. My credentials include a bachelor degree in electrical and electronics engineering, obtained internationally, and a Canadian postgraduate diploma in project management. Given my qualifications and over 1 year of Alberta work experience, what's the most effective pathway for permanent residency? Okay. And what are the strategies to optimize my application success rate? So first, you are in the right path. You have great education. You came to study in Canada. You achieved the minimum scores to open your profile. You also are in the path to qualify for the PNP. However, you chose to work as a cashier in Canada. there's nothing wrong. There is nothing against working as a cashier, but when it comes to strategizing for your permanent residency, you have to focus on skilled occupations to increase your chances of success, okay? And you have a degree and knowledge in electrical and electronics, which is a field in demand in Canada. And I have seen many international people coming to Canada and find a job in their trades because it is, it matches the need of Canadians with the skills that you have to provide. And there's a lot of misconception about that. Like a lot of people think that you'll be discarded as a qualified applicant if you are international or if your education was not here, from here. And especially for engineers, there's a lot of misconception that you need to have the engineer validation, the Canadian equivalent, in order to work as an engineer, electrical engineer in Canada, for example. And that's not true. Here, the designation, which is called professional engineer or professional eng, allow the person to sign the project, to sign the technical report. But one PEng, one professional engineer, can have many other engineers that are not PEng in their team, okay? So I would say, if you want to increase your chances of success, I would say consider letting go of your current work and focusing on finding a job either as electrician or electrical electronic engineer, because there is demand, there is jobs available, and that is a skilled worker occupation that's in demand and increase your chances of success, okay? So I wanted to answer this question just to clarify the misconception about the need of validation in some occupations, the fear of pursuing the qualified job, and why you have to strategize, like you have to have a focus. That's the occupation that I'm going to apply because of this reason, to increase my chances of success, to increase my chances of immigration, okay? So it is great that I have LMIA, but LMIA, if it's not an occupation tier 0, 1, or 2, or 3, it doesn't help with anything, to be honest. And then there's a question here. I'm electrical, electronic, and telecommunications engineer, and I have 5 years of experience. What point can that give me when joining the pool? The pool is a combination of skills, right? We consider age. So, for example, it is 110 points if you have up to 30 years old and you are single. If you're married, however, it's up to 100 points if you have up to 30 years old. So you need to consider your marital status, your age. So your age usually, for example, you lose 5 points every birthday after 30, right? So just to give an idea, if you're electrical electronic communication engineer, you have 1 credential, 2 credentials, 1 bachelor, and 1 specialization. We have to look into that because there is the points assigned for education. You mentioned the band 9 in language. Yes, so for language, you got a great score. You have the best score in terms of language, right? We need to know your work experience as well, right? So I would say, based on everything you are letting me know here in this message, sorry, there's no even language information. So we needed to know the language information if you need to have your score. So I can't tell you just by your occupation how many points would have on the Express profile. But if you go to E-Visa website, at the bottom of the page, there is free assessments, and you can complete a free assessment. We will ask you all those questions. We will calculate your points, and we will let you know by email right away as automated system whether or not you qualify to apply, okay? We don't provide your exact points, But if you contact our team and say, I pulled up the free assessment, I received the email, I want to confirm my points, we can do that. Or what I would recommend is book a consultation, because during the consultation, we will go over all the details and not only tell your points, we will validate if you answer everything correctly, and we will simulate different scenarios and different approaches for you to have the best points possible and increase your chances of success. Okay. Question here from Lisa. How long you need to be in a relationship and married for? Lisa, when we do a spousal sponsorship application, the proof is around the genuineness of the relationship. If you're married, there is no certain time that you need to live with your spouse. You can marry and apply right away, but we have to assess the entire relationship to prove the genuineness. How long have you been together? Did you meet family and relatives from the other side? Do you guys share social connections, meaning go hang out with friends, introduce yourselves to the community as a couple, share financial responsibility. So there is a lot of things that we assess to prove the genuineness of the relationship. So if you're married, we will look at all this information, connections with the family, social connections, financial responsibilities, cohabitation, length of the relationship, how was the development of the relationship, all these are considered. If we are common law, everything is also the same way. The difference is you can only apply after cohabitating for at least 1 year continuously, okay? So there's not a certain time, but I would say it's more about the relationship itself than the how long have you been married. It's very common that people are sometimes dating for a while, like maybe a few months, 9 months, 1 year, and then they decided to get married and apply right away. And they still qualify because we can prove that the relationship is genuine, okay? Can the funds be held in an external account or should it be in Canadian account? That's a very good question. Yes, the funds can be held in an external account, and in this case, we'll do the conversion rate. So for example, we will look at the currency and then get an official report of the equivalency in Canada. So let's say, I'll give an example and for Brazilian folks, like one Brazilian real, it's equivalent to about 4 Canadian dollars, right? Sorry, it's the opposite. 4 reais is equivalent to 1 Canadian dollar.
I think
So
it's also real, right?
yeah, it's called real too.
Portuguese
Yes,
real, right?
or it could be the Iranian reals too.
Right.
It's the same, but then
Right.
it's 45,000. 1 Canadian dollar is 45,000 Iranian real, right? An average. So then I say like, okay, so if I need to put 15,000 Canadian dollars, but you were demonstrating in reais, let's do 15 times 4, right? And then we will share your amount in Brazilian reais or Iranian reals and show the report that proves the equivalency, okay? Second part of this question here, is it advisable to apply for the work permit for my spouse together with my postgraduate work permit at the same time, or is it advisable to wait for mine to get it in before? It is always advisable to apply together, okay, if possible. However, now you need to meet the requirements of having a job offer that qualifies Tier 0 or 1, or in a specific occupation in the list of Tier 2 or Tier 3 occupations, okay? And the third part of the question was the current waiting time for a post-graduation work permit approval. Unfortunately, it's quite high, it's about 4 to 5 months, okay? So it's taking a while, but once you apply, you have maintained status and you are eligible to apply, to work right away. You submit your post-graduation work permit, you are already qualified as a worker. And by the way, this waiting time in which you are working under maintained status qualify for Canadian experience. So, at the end of the day, you are receiving additional time because when the officer processes your application, they're going to give, let's say, 3 years upon approval. And if you waited 5 months, you were allowed to work for these 5 months, 6 months, and this counts for Canadian experience. So you actually received additional 5-6 months eligibility to work in Canada that you can use even towards the PR. Let's see. I guess, well, there's so many questions that I would love to reply to you all, but as I mentioned, we are actually running out of time here. And I would again reinforce with all of you that we are offering a specific code as a discount for all of you that want to talk to one of our consultants to have your questions answered. So take opportunity to have this code and chat with us. Hopefully we can sit down together, answer all your questions, make a plan for you to transition to permanent residency and celebrate together, hopefully in the near future, your achievement, okay? And I'll be happy to remember that we met in this webinar today.
That's awesome. Thanks, Marilene.
Marilene,
Sorry,
just
go ahead.
one thing, for the, I mean, if any of the attendees in this webinar would like to use any of our services at ILIA English Academy, we can give you an exclusive 10% off on all our courses. So if you're interested, you have the WhatsApp link and you can be in contact with us. Any course you would like to study at our school will be offered to you with 10% discount.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll be reaching out to folks in the coming days via email, so you can get in touch with us that way.
Yeah.
We're going to be sending everybody the recording of this webinar and a free study product as well. So just look out for that. It'll be delivered to you this week in your email inbox. But just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today. And yeah, we're here to support you if you need help along your immigration and CELPIP journey. So don't be shy, reach out to us. We're here to help you guys. So yeah, hope everybody has a fabulous rest of the day. And I'm sure we'll be doing another session like this pretty soon. So thanks to Marilene, thanks to Soroush for a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Patrick, for the invitation. Nice
Thank
to
you.
be here with you, Soroush, today. Thank you
Thank
all
you.
for
It was a
attending.
pleasure.
I hope you guys
Thank you,
enjoyed.
everyone. Thank you for
All right,
joining
thanks,
us today.
everybody.
Hope to see you
Take care.
soon. Bye-bye. Take
Yep.
care.
Ciao. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.